Very good afternoon to you, and many thanks for joining us the way you always do at this time every Monday afternoon on independent television. My name is Evan Sunukugi. Today on the program Africa Discourse, we are going to our next door neighbor, if you like. I'm talking about Niger. And we understand that as we speak now, the U.S. and Niger, their time is so limited because, as a matter of fact, the military junta in Niger has given an ultimatum that the U.S. forces must leave Niger. What are the issues? And of course, what are the pros and the cons of military or foreign interest in Niger? That's what we're going to be talking about today on the program Africa Discourse. Well, quickly, let's see the major headlines that we are following and now on the show. You know, on this program, we go the extra mile to see the major headlines that will make your interest, and of course, that you can find time to read so that you get to know what is really going on in Africa. Well, first and foremost, we want to commiserate with Ghanaians. We just, got the news a while ago that Ghana mourns a music icon who is by name Kofi Uwosu Dua Anto and is popularly called Koda. He was a gospel artist, and we understand that he died, very recently, some few days ago. And what actually led to his death is still, arguable. Some said that he died as a result of kidney, infection. Some said that he died as a result of natural cause. Very young, he died at the age of 48 years old. And we'll join the Ghanaians to commiserate with this great musical icon in Ghana. That's the very first headline that we have this afternoon. Ghana mourns music icon Koda, who passes away as we just go on the show. Then, of course, we've got something coming in from the Pope now, talking about the battle in the Middle East now. Pope Francis renews call for peace in the Middle East and the Ukraine. That's the second headline that we are following at this time. Then also we shift to Togo now, where we have the Togolese president talking about Faure Gnassingbe, who we understand that Togo has approved constitutional reform, changing how president is going to be elected. Well, that's a big one for the Togolese, but somehow there are reactions and counter-reactions now. Once we have constitutional issues, it is very, very, natural that some persons will react the way some Togolese are reacting to how presidents are going to be elected in Togo any moment from now. Togo approves constitutional reform, changing how president is elected. That's a major headline. Then also, too, we'll come home to Nigeria, where we understand that our own president, President Tinubu, is to open African Counter-Terrorism Summit in Abuja today. Even as we speak now, we understand that that is ongoing in Abuja. And the issue of terrorism in Africa has been one great thing that African heads have been talking about. So President Bola Tinubu opens African Terrorism Summit, and as we speak now, it's ongoing in Abuja. All right, so lastly, we have South Africa. ANC loses Zuma party, name a battle. Big headline there on some of the major headlines that we have at this time on the program Africa Discourse. All right, so these are some of the major headlines that we are following at this time. So I told you that we are going to be looking at what is going on in Niger, whereby the U.S. Security operatives have been given ultimatum to leave Niger. We understand where this whole story, started from some years ago, and of course, as a result of the counter-terrorism, the jihadist movement in Niger, it has necessitated U.S. for quite some time to, as a matter of fact, to build a military base in Agadez. That's the place where the U.S. troop has been located for quite some time. And we understand also that it took the U.S. almost about $100 million to, put that base there. So when the U.S. leaves now, what is going to happen to all that? Would that not be wasted efforts in utility? That's one big question. Or will the U.S. leave Niger and, of course, look for somewhere else in West Africa or in any other parts of the continent to locate their military base in? That's another big question that we're going to be looking at today on the program. Well, to look at all this this afternoon, we are so privileged to have two gentlemen here. We've got Dr. Victor Igbenedion. He's a lecturer, a professor. Victor Igbenedion, now a lecturer with the Department of Vocational and Technical Education, University of Benin. Sir, you're welcome to the program Africa Discourse. And of course, we've got the erudite international conflict resolution expert, a serial author, Nowita Igbotako. Nowita, you're welcome to the program Africa Discourse.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure once again.
All right, now. All right, so gentlemen, I'll start with Professor. When we talk about military intervention, and of course we'll talk about the presence of the U.S. in Africa, particularly in Niger, it's something that we've been following. And now we're talking about military leaving foreign interests in Niger, the pros and the cons. So if U.S. leaves Niger today, is it a win-win game for Africa or a lose game for Africa? I'll start with Prof.
Well, to me, it's like you are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. I don't see any gain for Africa, so to speak. These are imperialists. The U.S., they are after their own interest. Of course, you know that Niger is one of the highest it has one of the highest deposits in the whole world of uranium. And for them, a landlocked country without any river, water is very scarce in Niger. For them to locate their base there, say they are using it as a counter-terrorism, their major interest in that country is the exploitation of the uranium, which France has been exploring for a long time. So they put their base there under the pretext of counter-terrorism in Africa. When you look at the country, with what I've said so far, they too, they could not even explore their uranium themselves. It was France that has been doing that one for them. So, U.S. presence there is co-exploitation of the single natural resource that they have, which is uranium. So the idea of what are they securing there, apart from that mineral resource that they have? Nothing they are securing at all. You see how the country reacted when this junta took over to France. They said, get out. See what you have been taking from us, and you are paying us pittance. Except we dictate the terms for you. And they couldn't take it. They left. Now the U.S. now, they are also, the citizens are agitating that the U.S. leaves the place. The U.S. base should be moved out of the place. And we are talking about where would they be relocated in Africa. As the word I used at the beginning is that they are imperialists. Unless we tend to look inward and develop ourselves, like China did, like some of the Asian countries did.
Singapore and so.
Okay. We will continue to be dependent. The Africans, there's what they call dependency syndrome, which African, they think that without this world powers, or so to speak, I know that no country is a part. You cannot. No country can do it all alone. But the level of your dependence, you are thinking that one country will come and make the haymaker for you in your country. You are just deceiving yourself. They will exploit the country to the barest minimum before they say they will leave. So, to me, it's not actually a loss to Niger. Maybe it's going to open their eyes. They already know the resource that they have. And they have told France that you are going to exploit this thing if we want you again at our own terms. So that is where we are.
Okay, let me pause you there and come to Nowita Igbotako. By the way, we have a video just to further buttress the present happiness in Niger as it stands now. The Nigerians asking the U.S. To leave Niger. So we can begin to roll that clip now so that our viewers can actually know what we're talking about this afternoon. Now, Buchako, perhaps you may want to agree with some analysts that are of the opinion that the U.S. has been in Niger for quite some time now. And the issue of jihadist movements, Islamist movement, the Al-Qaeda movements and all that in Niger has not in any way reduced. Perhaps what has happened in Niger for quite some time now may have reduced the military might of the U.S. That's the way some people look at it. I don't know whether you agree with that.
You mean with the Americans living Agadez?
With the America being in Niger for quite some time,
yeah.
There has still been a series of terrorism spanning into Nigeria and all that.
You see, to flow with Prof. America came into Agadez, came to Niger Republic to collude. Listen to my phrase. To collude the resources of Nigerians. They had the pretext when Osama bin Laden and the ISIS madness came all over the world. They had this movement. So they now saw an opportunity. How do we enter Niger? How do we enter Niger and collude the resources with France? It is simple. International politics is about interest. That's what Prof has said. Permanent interest. No, there's no sentiment. So, okay, agreed. The jihadist movement is a reality. But it's not enough for America to move such a base. That base is massive.
About 100 million.
You don't told me how much that was invested. For them to have invested so much into Niger. How many jihadis have they stopped? See, they took their base to Agadez. Jihadist madness is still flowing all over Africa, still flowing all over the world. So for me, the President Abdul Rahman Chihani.
Yeah, Chihani now.
Chihani.
The military leader.
It's in order.
By asking the U.S. to
Yeah, because he is implementing the National Council for defend the homeland.
Yes, a homeland.
That's the title of the government. Like provincial ruling in Nigeria.
Yeah.
The national movement to safeguard the homeland.
Yeah.
They come with a mission. They've seen the antecedent of France, of United States and the rest superpower, imperialists. They now saw the best thing is for white people to quit. You know, apart from having their base there, you know what they do? Espionage of the highest level. You need to read the history of the CIA, Central Intelligence and Agency. Is espionage, espionage, and espionage. That is where they tap the resources to know what is happening in Nigeria and that Sahel region. So it's beyond confronting the jihadist movement. It is purely a process to subjugate the dependence on Niger in their own way. France have been having their way since 1958, when Charles de Gaulle. De Gaulle reminds me of Franklin Delano Roosevelt in America. We'll go there. But let me talk about Charles de Gaulle. Yeah. De Gaulle became popular when he led the populist movement against Germany, Hitler madness in 1945. When Germany went to overrun France, he was a colon. He became the poster child of the France resistance. So after they have overcome Nazism, Hitler and what have you, de Gaulle saw that the Francophone countries were restive. They were yearning for independence. He went round. That was where they started that policy that now went to all Francophone countries. Say, let's control your currency, the CFA, the
policy of assimilation.
Assimilation!
Policy of assimilation.
They take your defense, they take the heart of the nation. Is that independence? When you control the currency, CFA, when you control defense, resources, and you ask the country to pay for it. Pay for the services. They call it social services. So that was the genesis of neo-colonialism to Africa. Yeah. So America came and say, hey, You know what America is doing now?
We can do it better.
Anywhere we can do it better. Another language. Anywhere they see, okay, look at what they do to Japan now, to China. They are struggling. They start Chinese coast with Benji. So that day, the Japanese Prime Minister was in Washington, so let me not go too far. So the Chihani-led government in Niger is in order perfectly. Okay. It's a revolutionary government. It's a government that has seen that the policy that they met is against the people of Niger. They have to reverse it. They have a mission. The mission speaks for the name of that council. That national solidarity to defend the homeland. The homeland be bastardized. The homeland be humiliated. The homeland be subjugated by imperialists. Okay. Now, so what are we saying? It's a welcome development.
Yeah, Prof, a while ago you hinted that even the Nigerian military junta now, is trying to renegotiate with the France,
in their own times
now, the France force. There should be conditions on which, even if they are going to allow to come back now, there should be conditions. Now, one would have expected, we understand that Russia is right there. Russia has given on free access to Niger. But the question we're looking at now is, if you try to renegotiate with France now to come back, conditions and all that, are you not going back to, is Niger not going back to where they're coming from, the exploitation in their resources that they're coming, trying to avoid?
You see, the position of Niger was just to give them a leeway to leave the country. Yeah. They know. They know. Let me tell you, France is one of the hardest colonialists in the world.
In what sense now?
Compromising.
Yes, very hard people. Very hard. You see them. They look genial in appearance.
Ruthless.
Very ruthless. I worked with them.
Apart from that, sorry, with due respect to you,
yes.
The foreign policy, it has no human face. Foreign policy of France?
No, the principle of their foreign policy is assimilation. We understand that. Now,
assimilation to kill their colonies forever, to subjugate them, to bastardize their natural resources. What are we saying?
So, it was just to ease them out.
Yeah. An excuse.
An excuse to ease them out that, okay, we will work, you have to work with our terms. And there's hemorrhage of their resources. The French people know how much damage they have done to their economy. And that was what I was talking about, dependency syndrome of African. You have to depend on people. No matter how crude you are. That's why I was citing Chinese, and some other Asian countries who had to close their economy. Say, if we die, let us die. We have to survive with what we have. And look at how they have come out of the whole thing now. They are better for it.
Look at the advancement.
There is no way you will leave them to be exploited. Look at Nigeria now. Okay. Is Dangote not producing oil now? Producing refined petroleum resources?
One human being. Go ahead,
yeah, so they said. But
but we are now producing from the country. So if we don't learn, if Africans don't learn to do their own thing by themselves, they will continue to depend on people, and people will exploit us. So that's what we should concentrate on. We just believe that there's nothing that we can do by ourselves. See, the economy has been very bad now since they said the fuel subsidy is removed. Have we not been surviving one way or the other?
But we've also been suffering too.
Yes, but we are surviving. After some time, we will get over it.
All right, so the program is still Africa Discourse on Independent Television, and our special focus this afternoon is what is going on in Niger. It was sometime in October last year, 2023, that a whole story started, whereby the military junta took over in Niger. And the response to that military junta was that Nigerians came out in the streets of Niger to celebrate that military taking over from the democratically elected government that was there. That was headed by Bazoum. And of course, we understand all that went, how Bazoum was incarcerated, how he became ill and all that. Now, a lot of people actually thought that it was total freedom for Niger. But as we speak now, the military junta in Niger, has also, completed plans to allow the Russian, come into their governance, if you say, through the Wagner Force. Why the U.S. has been given ultimatum. Now, gentlemen, the Russia coming into Niger now, what does it, how do we begin to react to that? What does it mean for Niger, Prof? Wutako.
You see, in the international circuit, it is very clear. We have major powers. We have some that have their zone of influence, naturally. France has been controlling Niger and other Francophone countries before America came in. I was mentioning Roosevelt just now. President Roosevelt. Roosevelt was one of the greatest American presidents. He saw tomorrow. It was the latter years of Roosevelt that you saw the Bretton Woods institution, the IMF. He saw, after America came from the Second World War, everywhere was paralyzed. John Marshall, the Secretary of State, they came with Marshall Plan and the rest. I'm saying this so that the viewers can understand the background.
Yeah.
They saw tomorrow, you understand? In France, France have been, France have been taking control of, Niger, Francophone country, as I said.
Yeah.
But now, as in the international circuit, countries have their zone of influence. When a perpetual controller of a zone of influence for entrance is having problems, and that superpower is approaching another superpower to sneak in. It's a natural thing. And that's what China has been doing, Benji. Anywhere you see the Americans trying to control their interest, they will move in. So now, and traditionally, we should not forget, we have to remember how the Soviet Union came into being. The Soviet Republic, before it became Russia, it came as a result of a struggle against, bad governance and things like that. And when that government came in, they wanted to fight imperialism, new colonialism, Lenin and what have you, Joseph Stalin and the rest. So traditionally, most African leaders, most African countries, after they want to slip out of the hand of America, France,
they fall into the hands.
They fall into the Soviet bloc.
Yeah.
And looking at the history of that country, this is a country, a mighty country, Russia. In the former it was Soviet republics.
Yeah.
Before they broke away, we all know the dynamics that happened. But now Russia has taken over that zone. That's a superpower. So naturally, the Kremlin, Russia, the Kremlin, they will pretend that they love Africa. They want to come development with human face, just like what Chinese is doing. Chinese, like what did the Western imperialism, we are coming with Eastern imperialism. And imperialism will give you money, will develop your place, will give you loan facilities that will not break your head or not break your neck and things like that.
But ultimately,
But at the end of the day, they see exploit, they see bite, they see, except for any particular African leader that want to stand tall in terms of nationalism and, except that country, or except that your country is very strong. If not, they will
sponsor a coup.
They will do sort of thing. They will be worse than where France left them. So it now depends on the African leaders.
Yeah, so Russia in Niger now, what does
though initially they want to do fantastic things. They will lower whatever interest. Okay, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. They will bring fantastic carrots. That way,
just let him answer.
Okay. They will do fantastic economic carrots to Niger, for instance. Now they will say, "Don't worry, don't mind the Americans, don't mind the French. We will give you this. We will where they are taking your uranium for 10%. We'll give you 50%." That is not that. Imperialism remains the same. It's the same face. Because there's no country that will value its country less as against other country.
Okay.
So the country's interest is uppermost.
All right, so we are looking at foreign interest in Niger, the pros and the cons of foreign interest in Niger. Now, we've been able to establish that Niger has given the U.S. ultimatum to leave. As a matter of fact, we understand that the U.S., through the Deputy Secretary of State, Scott Campbell, has actually accepted that, okay, the U.S. are leaving, irrespective of the massive investment, the military-based investment that the U.S. has given to Niger. So the question that lies to that is that where would the U.S. now settle? Because the intention is to actually bring respite to Africa, especially as it relates to terrorism and jihadist movement. But some people have the opinion that U.S. has been in Niger for quite some time now, and that has not meant anything in terms of battling the insurgency that has spanned from Niger, from the Sahel region to parts of West Africa, Nigeria inclusive and all that. So the presence of U.S. in these countries at times for most people is really not significant as such. Now we have the Russian and the Wagner force now showing a very strong interest to be in Niger. And from all indications, the military junta in Niger has fully accepted that. Now, we understand that Niger is very rich in uranium, and if you are a very good student of history, one of the reasons why Russia has not accepted to leave Ukraine is because of the heavy deposits of uranium in Ukraine.
That's true.
And superpowers, they need this uranium for production of nuclear energy, nuclear
electricity, and what have you.
So will this not be the same case tomorrow in Niger? Professor, you want to react to that?
Yes, I was just thinking aloud when I was expressing it. Yeah. If they have issues with Ukraine, and one of the highest deposits of
in the world
uranium is in Ukraine. In
yeah.
So, and this one is just for them to look for another deposit of Ukraine.
Where it is, and it's in Africa.
It's in Africa, yeah.
In Niger,
and so they will make good promises.
Yeah,
they will make a lot of concessions beyond what France.
Yeah, we give it them before.
And they will come in. When they come in, they will spiral out of control in no time. We may say that you have been enjoying them up and down. Their mission, they know from the beginning.
There.
They will incapacitate the citizens. And the citizens are getting aware. That's why the junta is able to carry them along. They will tell them, look at what France has been giving us. And we can get this one for it.
Now, are you sure the citizens are really aware?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are aware.
They are getting aware. Their eyes are getting
But they celebrated the military junta when they came on board.
Because of
the previous one was not good. So
yes,
and we've not seen any protests, against the Russian coming into Niger. I mean, one would have thought that, okay, if the citizens are so aware of the implication of Russian coming into Niger, by now we should be seeing protests that, no, we don't want these people here, we don't want them in our country.
No, they can't see it from the perspective we are seeing.
They can't see it now.
Their leaders will be educating them on the
gradually.
benefit. France was giving us 5%. Russia is coming to give us 50%.
50%. That will make them crazy.
If we get 50% for this our resource, this is what we will do. This is what we'll be doing. What did U.S. base do for them? Nothing.
Nothing.
They just exploited them, and they asked them to leave. For America to come and invest $150 million in a country, you know what it means? What they will take out of that country, maybe 10 times or even more than what they will give.
But no, we must also be fair to the U.S. Because, U.S., their principle of freedom and all that, even when they are helping you to wrestle criminality in your own homeland, they try as much as possible to be very, very free with you. Now, if rumors are anything to go by, we understand that the presidency of Bazoum aided and abetted, insurgency in Niger. So that was probably, not that the U.S. could not have been able to smoke them out.
No, yeah.
I mean, for the fact that most times what we heard was that when some arrests were made on insurgents, you hear whereby the presidency trying to support that. No, they are our citizens. These are not the people we are talking about. So I think we have to look at it from that perspective, even as we try to blame the U.S. or as we try to fault the U.S. that they failed in Niger.
Just as we have said so far, the Americans came to Agadez. Installed their machinery in Agadez for economic interest.
For security purpose first.
That's a smooth screen.
when they came to Africa before independence, what did they say they are coming to do what? Economic interest.
You know, a U.S. base was supposed to be in Nigeria,
but
the students
because
that time in 1960.
Even France wanted to test the nuclear somewhere. The Nigerian students in 1960, they refused it because they were Latin. So the part of the matter is this: imperialism has no human face. They talk about democracy. It's a facade. It's unfortunate. Because I know, that's why I'm saying it. The democracy that will not dance to their tune, they will remove such democracy. Quote me, if American leaves Agadez, if the current leadership is not strong enough, I'm talking as an international conflict resolution expert, they will sponsor a coup and remove Chihani. This is international politics.
Even with Russia presence?
Is it not human beings they will use? When they want to plant all the coups that are taken in Africa. Have you guys seen what General MacArthur talking hello African, hello Nigerians? They use the indigenous people. They find turncoats. They find dissidents. They find people for crumbs. Okay, the other day, this guy in Burkina Faso, one general something, because
Traore
is the president. Yeah. You know, they wanted to do another coup recently in Burkina Faso.
To overturn Traore.
Yeah. The guy was caught. The guy was disgraced. That was what happened to Thomas Sankara. They used Blaise Compaoré to remove Sankara. In 1987, 86, 87, because Sankara was very popular, was pro-people and the rest. But the point I'm trying to make is that America is leaving Agadez with bitterness, and they will not forgive Niger. Quote me, international politics, they will always be a round two. There will be a payback. Except that leadership is not strong, except that leadership is not pro-people. They will find a way to pay back. We are talking of capitalism, democratic capitalism. Is that not what we see all over the world? Without human face, do we want to go extra and discover what is happening in other countries, in Middle East and anywhere? It's economic interest. When the interest is not working for them, they will sponsor that government, they will sponsor dissident, they will remove that government. They are facts, international arena. They are fact historical records, which we know. That's what they did in Zaire. They removed Bulumba. Bulumba says, Belgium, once I become prime minister, you are gone. But his Lumumba signed his death warrant on Independence Day.
All right, so
we know these are issues.
Yeah,
because you say Americans should leave. They will fight back.
All right, so
the point is, if America leaves, at the end of the day, it will not their going will not diminish any interest in Niger. It's for the Nigerians, it's for the Nigerians with the leadership, President Ousmane Chihani and his group to remain resolute, to remain nationalistic, to remain visionary, to remain missionary and visionary in their outlook. I'm happy when I look at the name of their government, National Solidarity in Defense of the Homeland.
That is just a name.
That shows that the government has ideology. You know, I can use it, Prof. Because most of the problem around Africa is that we have government that doesn't have ideology. If you don't have ideology, what do you want to build on? You build on nothing. The countries that have risen from the ashes, Soviet Union,
but from the way
China, Singapore, they have ideology.
Yeah, but from the way
without ideology, you cannot sprout out.
Yeah, you may say that the military junta in Niger has ideology.
Yeah, ideology.
But from the way they've been going about since they came into government, would you want to agree that there's really an ideology? I mean, a government that came on board under the pretense that okay, under the condition that hey, Bazoum really failed.
Yes.
He couldn't secure our people. Then of course we have to oust him. Let us reconstitute the government. Let us bring a more democratically elected president and all that. But they've not been able to do that now. But all that we see is trying to negotiate with some other people, you know, coming in. So
there's no government that will be an island to itself. International politics cannot stand alone. If you stand alone, they will crush you.
Now, okay,
international politics.
Prof wanted to say something.
Yes, there's no vacuum in nature. If you push out the US,
somebody else will step in.
They cannot survive it, as he has said.
Yeah, they are going with bitterness.
Yes, and in no
bitterness.
time.
So does it mean no African country can really survive on its own? Is that what
yes,
we're
we
trying
can.
to say?
We can.
So what are the issues?
With the right leadership.
This over-dependence on them.
Over-dependence is an issue.
See, if they leave a vacuum there, the US will come back.
To another process.
Yes, the only thing that they will do is to bring in somebody that can neutralize them. That's why you see this, what they call Russia.
Yeah.
They are coming in.
So are you trying to say that US is trying to support Russia coming in now?
No.
They won't support them.
That I know will never happen.
It doesn't happen. Oh. But there's nothing they can do. The people say, leave our country. And they know the implication that if Russia leaves, US leaves, they are in trouble. So they have to embrace
Russia.
Russia, you know, in a way.
They cannot stand alone.
Yes, that can. Support
they
them.
need a superpower to stand beside them.
Beside them.
Cannot stand alone.
And that has its own price. Also.
Yeah, it has its own price.
In the interim, as I said before, they will seem to be enjoying.
But one question that we ask gentlemen, should the continent of Africa be a continuous ground for testing superpowers? I don't know, because as an African, I feel so bitter about it.
That's what I said earlier.
I don't know which you want to talk about.
It takes, just as we say on this program, it takes a leadership with ideology, uncompromising ideology, a nationalistic leader with an outlook, or nationalistic outlook, sort of like Gaddafi. Gaddafi was a figure in African history.
But the same US...
No, I'm telling you. But you know what happened? Gaddafi had his minus.
Yes.
I'm not saying there's no leadership that is 100% anywhere in the world. Even as popular as Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the US, he had opposition. Go and look at the history. Before he became the greatest president in American history, they fought him tooth and nail. That is democracy. So you don't have any leader that just... So we are calling for leaders. Let me say in this program, we are calling for leaders who will have mission. You don't enter presidential palace and you started dreaming. You know what I mean, sir?
No.
You have your package of development. You have your capsules for taking that country from where you met it and take it to the next place. Not you come in and destroy the country. For instance, in Nigeria, we're talking Africa. What we have in what we have in Nigeria, for instance, is when the self government come in, they become worse than the federal government, because the guys that are smoked themselves democratically. Let me use the word democratically. What I mean, Prof. They smoke themselves democratically to power. No ideology, no program of action, no mission, no nothing. This when you now enter the kitchen, you now want to take what to cook. Is that to lead people? So what we are saying, what we continue to say, we want leaders with mission. We want leaders with mission and vision that will take the country. We're talking about Singapore just now. Even the China that we talk today, where was China in the 1930s? We know how China fought brutally. The Red Guards, multi-tongue. Okay, what led to Taiwan. It was bloody nationalistic fight between the nationalist leader, Chiang Kai-shek, who now he ran away from China and went to find Taiwan. That's why today Benji is claiming Taiwan because it's the same brothers. Okay. So we're talking about leadership. Mao gave China leadership. After Mao, there was fantastic leader like Deng Xiaoping, who brought economic prosperity to China. Nigeria and Africans can develop if they are focused with genuine ideology, uncompromising ideology. You know, I said something just now, that even as the Americans are leaving Niger, the Russians are coming in. You see, take Chihani and his boys to stand their ground. You see, gentlemen, we know where we are coming from. France did this, and this, American did it, and they will take Putin where to stop.
Yeah, but
that we call leadership.
That is another question now.
You need a leadership that is furiously nationalistic.
Yeah, okay, let me leave that to Prof.
No, that means
to respond. No, that's
to undo superpowers.
Yeah, Prof. Can the military junta, the junta led by Abdul Mumin Chiani,
yeah,
can he look at the Wagner force in the face
and give them conditions?
And give them conditions. Can he?
It's going to be extremely difficult.
That's it.
Because
so where does that lead us to?
As you asked a question earlier.
Yeah.
Say, okay, where is their ideology?
Yeah.
Apart from saying that, okay, we have been so cheated.
Yes.
And you open the eyes of the people
to the exploitation.
Their own ideologies have not been established. Say, we are going to take this country step by step to this level. They are deficient in that ideology because they have been so, brainwashed by the Westerners, Western or the superpowers, that they cannot stand on their own. And you were expressing a feeling a while ago that why is it that we cannot, as Africans, stay and starve ourselves so we can survive on our own? Even ordinary agriculture, that we have heavy land mass all over the place, we cannot. Okay, if we want to do it, they will sponsor the Fulani people, whatever they call them, herdsmen, to drive people out of the bush. During the last administration, about rice, they were already producing rice. You see Lagos sponsoring farms in the north and producing large quantities of rice.
Yeah.
But there is a cartel that wants to bring the country to its knees.
The continent.
Yes, the continent, as a matter of fact. These people,
in every country.
They have hand in it to say, okay, Thailand, we bring rice from Thailand, long grain from US, and all those ones. Where are we going to sell these things? So there's sabotage. And our people, because of the way we are, once we are given a little bit of peanuts, we are very happy. And so we can jettison the mission to redeem our people. You start to fly to US on a private jet up and down the valley. You don't care about the people again. You don't care.
Okay. Now, Nowita Hikmutako,
yes.
as we
I want to quickly
comment, just as we try to commence our descent now. Now, you talked about a while ago about leadership.
Yes.
Little wonder if we can actually have alternatives, to these leadership problems that we have in Africa. Are there alternatives? Since we are saying that it seems that our leadership, has failed us, do we have alternative?
I think the alternative that we are talking about is to have a democratic system that will allow the best amongst us to emerge.
Still the same leadership, leadership in the hands of...
Because the problem we have in Africa is the problem of electoral manipulations. Okay, look at what happened in Senegal. It was God that came down. In Senegal.
Macky Sall
wanted to...
He had to leave.
Macky Sall wanted to stabilize the system.
Yeah.
It was, when I say God that came down, you know what I mean? It was a miracle that Macky Sall had to relax last minute. By Bimaye and the rest guys, 5 years they came from prison.
But the case is in court, so it's not as if it's Uhuru for...
But we have a sense of belonging in Senegal now. There's hope. So, talking about leadership, I think Africans will continue to struggle, to fight, to agitate, because democracy is a thing. There is another thing now. Democracy is a thing. So the democracy, the Western democracy, the democratic capitalism that we're, liberal democracy that we have now, is for Nigerians.
By Nigerians.
Is for Nigerians. Niger.
By Nigerians.
Is for Africans.
Yeah, by Africans.
To fight.
Yeah.
Furiously, uncompromisingly. Let your vote count. Sort as the vote counts in US, in Britain, in Europe, and the rest. And because, take it from me, some of us are candidates for leadership. Some of us are candidates for leadership. But the system is so porous, the system is so accommodating for cerebral characters to emerge. Okay, look at the recent the primaries in Edo State, for instance. Because we are in Africa, talk about Niger. Because we have to localize. We saw where money was used recklessly.
But those are allegations.
No,
okay,
you're talking. Okay, how do the best guys emerge in Africa, in Niger, in anywhere? When the people who have the mission, who are cerebral, who have the character, whose assistant are so that they can lead, are generally being squeezed, not to get to the cockpit.
Okay.
That will lead to electoral victory.
Yeah.
It's an issue.
Yeah. Prof, you want to say something?
Hey,
Yeah.
when you are talking about leadership, don't forget the followership.
The followership is an issue too.
Yes, very serious issue. And this is where the neo-colonialism
Comes in. Yeah.
The type of education that we have is a problem. The people are not enlightened. We are just going to schooling and giving our certificates. And the poverty remains.
What kind of education?
We have not translated, even civic education.
Civic education?
Yes, only how government is managed. From secondary school, from primary school. In primary school, they used to teach us civics.
Yeah, they used to teach us, yes.
People are just concerned. So they use poverty to cover our eyes.
Blindfold.
Even if you are a graduate, your ultimate is just to survive. How the country is run is not your business.
Wow.
And so when election comes and they call you behind, you say, take this one. It's the people running, the even educated ones that are the one sabotaging every process of electoral
sanity.
process. Yes, sanity at all. Because they want to get money. Okay.
All right, so gentlemen, I think I will have to leave the discussion here today. The ultimatum has been given to the U.S. in Agadez in Niger, and we understand that the U.S. have been there for quite some time. So for some people, the U.S. failed to actually wrestle the insecurity in the Sahel region. And if you've been in Nigeria for over 15 years now, you will agree that it has spanned through into Nigeria too. I mean, the Boko Haram insurgency and all that, all spanning, coming all the way from Niger into Nigeria. All right, so gentlemen, I want to say a very big thank you for coming on the show today on the program Africa Discourse. And please, as Africans out there, we must think Africa in everything that we do, because this is the only continent that we have, and we must put hands together to protect it. My name is Evan Sunuk. We'll get on the same time and next week on the same program. Goodbye and God bless you.